Hi, everyone. Well, my camera's not working today, so I can't see myself. I hope you can, and I hope it's not a wonky view. I swear, I don't know why it does that sometimes. Um, anyway, but I don't need to see myself, do I? So, um, thank you all for joining. Today is May 16th, 2024. This is our afternoon break in the Akashic Records. I've got lots of questions today that I look forward to getting to. So I am going to go ahead and read the Akashic Prayer and take a second to connect and see what message they have for us today. And remember, if your view is wonky of me, let me know, because for some reason my camera is not working from my side. Um, and I don't know if you're looking at my forehead or my chin or you got a good view. So let me know if it is a little off. Okay. And like I always recommend or suggest, if even in a reading or here, okay, thank you. Um, when I read the prayer, if it feels right to you, close your eyes and let yourself relax, let yourself be open, and just be in that receptive mode and let yourself. Just be open to receive whatever comes through today. So if you submitted a question or you didn't, it doesn't matter. You're brought here for a reason. And usually there's some kind of message that you need to receive. So, or that you didn't even know you needed. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being open. And here we go. Hi. Okay. I can see my chin's a little cut off. Okay. Let me see. Is that better? Just let me know. All right. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lord's of the Akashic records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay. So, what the guides want to start out with today in a general message, and they'd like to bring in messages of hope. They do. They like to be uplifting. They like to use this opportunity to, address everyone's questions from problems and challenges to decisions that have to be made. And yet, one thing that's very important for them is to speak in that language of hope and uplifting energy, because they want you to know we choose to be here. We are choosing to be here. And so if we were in spirit where they are, there is one emotion. There's just one, which is love. And it is constant and it's beautiful and it's blissful and it's everything we imagine it to be. And at the same time, we choose to come here because we want to experience a multitude of emotions. We want more than just that blissed out state. And it's if we stay in that too long, we get bored. It's kind of like here. If you stayed, you know, in in one situation for too long without change, you get bored. But really, it's more because our souls really long to have these experiences, because each experience we have, we get wiser, we become more aware, we get clearer. And so it helps us evolve. And that's how we evolve, through experiences. And so here on the planet, we get all the emotions to play in, and we get all of our senses to receive with. So just think, if you're in that blissed out state, you don't get the breezes, blowing across your face, and you don't get to inhale those aromas of the amazing flowers that are here, or taste, all the delicious foods that are here. So they want you to really appreciate being here, no matter what you're facing, no matter what's going on in your life. And to also realize whether you're experiencing positive or negative things right now, remember we're attributing um, our mindset, I guess, is we're projecting onto something if it's positive or negative. So again, it's all in our mind. We're in control. And that's okay if you call something negative or call something positive. I mean, that's part of why we're here. But the guides are saying when you're facing things that are a little negative, or when you're watching challenging things in the news and we see what's going on in the world, yeah, it hurts our heart because ultimately we are loving beings. We are, and it is that blissful emotion that is in spirit is what is at the core of us. And so when we see things like that, it hurts. And yet at the same time, they want us to remember we chose to be here, and we chose to either witness these events going on, participate in these events going on, or whatever even is happening in your own life personally, individually, that maybe is unpleasant right now. They are saying, look for the message in that experience. What is it teaching you? How is it changing you? What are you learning from it? How are you evolving from it? Because everything we experience, we evolve from, especially when we understand the meaning in it, if that makes sense. So they say this often, that it's so important and so helpful to not judge where we are in life, what's going on in our life. And when we want to judge, they said that's the time to step back and just observe and start asking yourself those questions. How is this experience changing me? How is it shaping me? What am I learning from it? And sometimes we don't get the message right away. We don't understand the meaning right away. And sometimes it takes years to really get the meaning. But eventually that meaning comes around. So their guidance is to remember you're here because you want to be here. You're here because you want to have all these experiences. You're here because you want to evolve. And your soul's up to big work. And so despite what's going on in the world, and or even in your life, they said to really practice non-judgment and really practice looking at things from that higher perspective, that divine essence within you that is love. And still at the same time, appreciate being human, appreciate having all these emotions, from the big ones to the strong ones to the hard ones to all of them. I mean, that's what we're here for. And it's when we experience all the emotions, when we really understand them, they said we can walk through the world with more compassion and more lightness, and because we do have more understanding. So remember, some of these experiences in your life you're calling forth, and because your soul wants to have an understanding of something, and they would like to just give you that little information to think about as you go through your week, um, month, or however long that might be. But they said practice looking at your life in that way. Hang on here. And have more curiosity, have more lightness around things. Ultimately, like they said, they like to be hopeful and light. They said we are meant to be playful here. And not all the time. They're not saying, yeah, we're supposed to be just down here, having a lot of fun playing on the playground. Yeah, we're going to fall. We're going to hurt ourselves. Yet ultimately, it is a big playground here. And we get to choose what we want to play with and how long we want to play and play with who, and all of those things. Remember, humor is the quickest way to raise your vibration. And so that's where play comes in. And if you find in a space, headspace, that or an emotional space that you don't want to be in, then find a way to make yourself laugh. Find some humor and just lift out of that a little bit. And then you can start to be curious about what's going on and what you're experiencing. So that's another little thing to just keep in mind. The universe is very playful and it's often teasing us with little messages here and there. So pay attention, and they want to help you make the most of your journeys here, and they want to help you um, along the way so it's not so cumbersome. They are always leaving, signs and messages 24/7. It's, that squirrel runs out front of your car, then that's a message. Did you have to hit the brakes? So are you supposed to slow down somewhere in life? Do you need to hit the brakes on something? Like, look at it like that. So if you can start to question what's going on in your life, negative, positive, then look for the message in that. That's one way they're guiding you. And it is constant. The dream you had last night that you can't figure out, that just seems like crazy, there's a message in there. There's, if you're having a physical condition in your body, there's a message in there. So really learn to look at what's going on. What does it mean for you? And know that what means for you might be something different for somebody else. Go with what means for you. Okay. That's a lot. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to hop to our questions. I want to thank you all for being here. I totally agree. Someone just said, I love what the guides are saying. I love this life no matter how many challenges. You know what? I do too. Okay, so here's our first question. I have been getting painful cracks in my heels and toes for over 2 years now, and nothing I do stops them. I'm also getting small skin eruptions like eczema on my fingers. I can't figure out why, and I need to fix these issues. So, isn't that interesting that we get a question about physical stuff right off the bat? A lot of us are having physical stuff. And so, what the guides want you to know, and I want to thank you for sending that question in, is really look at the body and what the body means. So, feet represent how we walk in life or how we stand in life. It's what connects us to the earth, it's what grounds us. And then hands, fingers, or what we use to hold things in life or actually even create things in life. And so when we have issues with our feet and our hands, now these are our extremities. It's like, then we need to look at, is there some way that I am not moving forward in life, not letting myself move forward in life? Is there some way I am stifling my creativity? Now they are asking these questions because they want you to ask those to yourself. So they are telling me, and this is for you specifically that ask this question, that you are a creative person, and they're showing me your hands. There's something you need to be creating, but they said there's a fear in you in moving forward. There's a fear of change that your experience would also uh, represent the cracks in your feet. And so they're asking you to really look at, get this, where are the cracks in your foundation of life? So where are the cracks happening that you can't fix? And you may not be meant to fix, you might be meant to move on, but for some reason you're staying stuck in these cracks. And they're also saying you're not honoring your creative gifts right now. So they said one thing is they would have you look at where you can be more creative in life and where you can start putting that forward. And this looks like an inner gift that you have that you brought in with you. We're all creative. We are all creative in our own ways, but there's something in you particular that you need to be doing to help move you from the situation you're in, is what I'm hearing. But they would really have you look at the foundation of your life and what does that look like and where are the cracks there, and are you meant to create a new foundation for yourself? Are you meant to fill those cracks in your foundation? So they're not going to answer you that specifically because they really want you to think about those questions and what it means for you, what resonates for you. And they would like for you to be a little bit more reflective on your life with that. And they really appreciate you bringing that question forth because so many of us can be asking similar questions. So thank you. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. All right, I have a question for your Akashic reading. What can the guides share about my calling to go to Sweden or Norway, be in an ancient forest and commune with an elder there? It's something about writing a book with the information I receive, and I'd love to hear more details about where I'm to go and who to meet and when to go. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I am hearing to tell you Norway and Sweden for sure in your future. I don't know if it looks like this year, but I would say uh, within the next 12 to 18 months. It looks like you'll have clarity with whom to meet within that time frame. One of the things that your guides are saying, you almost answered the question or your question in your question. And I love this because they said to go there and to commune with trees and meet an elder. They said to remember that trees are also our elders, and that trees communicate and they bring messages forth too. And it might be the elder that you're meant to meet is in tree form, which I think is just so remarkable. Remember, if anything exists, it has records, it has a story. And these trees that are ancient, just can you imagine the stories they've had, especially the ones that have just been here for centuries. And when you commune with a tree in that way, when you ask to hear its stories, there's no telling what will come through. So just, they said, be open to what you think might be an elder might look very different. So this will be a fascinating journey for you. It does lead to another book. There will be also poetry in this book for some reason. They want you to know that it looks like you'll bring forth. And I would say again, it'll be less than 18 months. Give me a second. It feels like a late summer, kind of early fall trip. So what we would experience here in the States, I'm not sure what that translates to there, but that's what I'm understanding. And hopefully that answers your question. Let's see if there's anything else here. Well, one of the things they said, history does repeat itself. And so there is so much wisdom in history. And, you know, we are not reinventing the wheel here as we go along. So much of what we need is already here, and we just take tools and transform them. However, what they're saying is the information you're meant to bring forth is valuable. Some of it is history that we need to understand or revisit today because it will help us in this evolution that we're in. It's almost like they are telling me to tell you that the world is in a place where it's like the rubber band has just been really pulled and it's like really tense. And the work that you're doing, and so many of you joining in today, the work that you're doing, whether that's in your thoughts, in your prayers, in your meditations, whether it's personal, they said what you're doing is you're softening the tension on this rubber band so that it doesn't, pop and we have this, calamity on the planet, so to speak. But we are seeing the tension in it. But they're saying the information you're meant to bring through in this book is softening that tension on the rubber band. And again, that's for you who asked the question, but for all of you joining in, coming to this message, the spiritual work that you do, no matter what, praying for the world, just on your own as an individual, praying in a group, it is softening the tension on that rubber band, which is so important. And it is part of, I would say, what the world is calling forth right now, what the universe is calling forth right now, is more of us to soften that rubber band of tension, if that makes sense. So, again, thank you for asking that question, and hopefully that was helpful. I love this. Okay, here's another question. I am super curious if a particular animal is watching over me, and are they always around me? I've lost quite a few, but I feel like they visit a lot. Thank you. Well, yeah, the animal kingdom, again, such a powerful part of our experience here as humans. And animals, when they make their departure, are the exact same as our loved ones when they make the departure, in the sense that they stay around and they are still communicating. They are still brushing by your leg or hopping on the bed at night. You might still hear, the collar jingle of them walking down the street. I mean, down the hallway. So trust all of those ways they're showing up for you. And that's for everyone. And animals, because their lifespan is so short compared to ours here, they have the luxury of coming back around and around and around in your lifetime. And so your soul companions, those animals, you will see them come back, come back, and they have the same little mannerisms, or they'll have something will identify them. Um, so look for those little identifying traits. And above all, if you say to yourself, this current animal that you have reminds you of one you used to have, trust that resonance, because there's something there for you. That animal has probably come back. So for you that asked the question, they are showing, hang on here, give me a second here. There's a lot. I would agree with you. I feel like I am, first of all, they keep showing a horse around you. I don't know if you've ever had a horse before, but this energy is big like a horse. Um, but they keep taking me to a dog, and this dog looks like, if I don't know the breeds that well, but it looks like a boxer, kind of that color, that two-tone with the white and that reddish coat, but just sweet, playful, happy energy is around. Um, Very bouncy, that just looks like it's hopping around. So I wouldn't be surprised if where you live, things are getting knocked over in your home, that you don't know how they got knocked over. This I keep hearing the phrase like bull in a china shop, like this animal around you is big, but it just bumps into things, knocks. It could be a big, like a mastiff, even. So I don't know how many animals you have in spirit, but there's, I would say, a bunch around you. But one or two of them are knocking some things over in your house. So I would just smile when things look a little disheveled and you don't know how it got to look that way. So yes, give me one second here. There's also, I'm seeing long hair, like a long haired cat around. Could be a long haired dog, but it feels like a cat. Might be a big cat. Hmm. I'm also seeing somebody is showing up. One of them is a loud crow outside. It keeps is trying to get your attention outside. One of them wants you to come outside. I don't know what that might mean for you, but that's what I'm seeing and hearing to tell you. That's so funny. Okay, let's see here. Here's one. All right, my question. I have been reading about Akashic Records. I read a book by Linda Howe. It's fascinating. I'm trying to stay connected guides and angels and loved ones via Reiki. So I'm dipping a toe in the Akashic water. Is there anything my guides want me to know? Okay, great question. It's so funny. I've been hearing a lot lately of people really wanting to explore the Akashic records, and I want to show you this book. If you can see it, is by Ernesto Ortiz, and he is a lovely soul. If you haven't watched any of his stuff or tuned into anything he does, I would highly recommend it, because he's genuine, he's authentic, he's spiritual, he's caring, and he is so sincere in his work with the Akashic records, in his desire for everybody to learn how to open their own records. I mean, he really teaches you how to use this as a daily practice for yourself, so that you can, have more peace and understanding, or whatever you might need from them. But I really love this book by Ernesto Ortiz, and he covers a lot of information from chakras to like different quantum fields, and I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. But it's a wonderful way, I think, to be open to the records. We all have records, and like I said, anything that's ever existed has records. So it would be beneficial to each and every one of you to learn to start tapping into that energy and opening up that connection, and receiving wisdom, guidance, clarity, whatever you might need. It's beautiful work to share. And so if you feel called to learn it, explore it, do it, trust that calling. You know, there's just so much information, and each and every person drawn to this work is going to bring in different information. There's just that much there. So have fun with this too. Be light with this. Um, and then, I love that you're trusting that calling to read more and explore more. So it's just the beginning of that journey, I would say. Fun. Okay, let me go here. All right, here's another question. These are so much fun, you guys. I understand that in my previous lives, I've had a family with the same spouse or soul, which has resulted in a broken family. With this cycle repeating, does it mean something was left undone in previous lives? What can I do in this lifetime to break the cycle for future lives? Thank you. Okay, great question. Let's see. So, one of the things the guides are saying is, remember, your soul chose to come here. Because you married this person. So any person we're married to, any person, children, parents, spouses, we have soul contracts with them. And so you would have written out a soul kind of plan and design with this person before you came here. And so this spouse you're co-creating with this lifetime. And one of the things they're saying is they would have you, when you say break the cycle or not repeat the cycle or fix it so it doesn't happen again, that means that there's something you don't like about it, and which is very understandable. Having that experience, watching children grow up with, parents in different homes, yeah, it's challenging. Yet it's still something your soul wanted to experience, your spouse's soul wanted to experience, and even the children would write that in to come into, just using this as a term, a broken family, so to speak, but that's not the case. It's not broken. It's not a cycle that needs fixing. It's an experience you're having. And so think about it this way. A lot of times in past lives, You might have lived, 60 years married to the same person and had children and grandchildren and just had that, picture perfect, idyllic story. And you may have decided this lifetime, let's just shake it up a little bit. Let's see what happens if we don't stay married 60 years and we still have children. Let's see what happens when we choose that. So remember, our souls are curious. Our souls are wanting to understand all of the nuances in life. And so we write in all different kinds of things to experience. And this is just one of those lifetimes that you've chosen this. It doesn't mean you're going to choose it in the next one. You may end this lifetime and get into that space between lives and look at each other and say, well, that wasn't fun. We're not going to do that again. Or now we understand what it's like to have that experience. Let's go back next lifetime and be counselors. Let's be marriage counselors, a husband and wife team, and counsel people going through this, because now you have a deeper understanding. Or you may choose to work with children. So just remember, what you're doing in this lifetime is still shaping future lifetimes and decisions you might make for the future because of how you're evolving now. And you do have a strong contract with this person. And I would say, if you've only explored a few lifetimes, there's plenty more to look at, and might even be fun to see what are some future lifetimes that y'all have thrown out to look at. And just know you're having that one experience, this time, of a split household, a marriage that did not stay. So hopefully that is helpful to you too. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay, got a few more questions. Okay. I would like to ask, what is the main thing or theme to center on in order to reshape my life and be clear and true according to my true path? Okay. Well, so remember, we can't get off our paths. We're always on our path. And we might, paths can be easy, challenges, a whole mix of everything, but really we can't get off our path. That's important to understand. We can take detours to where we want to be going. We can stop at a scenic overlook for quite some time before we get to where, we want to be going next, or what our soul wants to experience. So all kinds of things are written into our stories that way. Um, and of course, we have free will, so we can change things along the way. So they want to answer this, though, for you. What can you, a main thing or theme to center on to reshape your life? Okay. Okay. They are telling me to ask you, uh, what is it you wish that everyone on the planet knew, or you wish everyone on the planet understood? What is it in your wisdom that you have come to through your life experience that you wish everyone else knew, because it would help them make different decisions? And so there's something for you to write. There's something in your story that is really helpful, and yet it feels like there's a big message to come through from your life experience on. It's almost like, this is what the guides are saying. We all come down here, and just to imagine we're all cooking a big meal. I'm cooking one, you're cooking one, all over the place. And we all have different ingredients. And it's like, what are you cooking with your ingredients? What does your life story look like? So there's something in your life story that looks like sharing with people. It's like your ingredients to what you did with it, is really helpful. So I would say there's sharing your life story in some way, somehow, some fashion. Does it mean you write a book? I don't know. Does it mean you do a podcast? Could be. Does it mean, you just start writing, articles, and send them out, to places like medium.com or Huffington Post. I don't know. But it just feels like you have stuff to write, stuff to share, stories to tell, that could be helpful for people. And some of them, I would say, entertaining. Remember, entertainment can lift the vibration also. Um, so I would say there's something to write, a story to tell, some way, some fashion you're meant to tell, is what you need to be focusing on right now. And that will help. They're saying not reshape your life, but shape your life. It'll put it into a form and structure. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, here's one more. It seems as though collectively we are experiencing many shifts in life. Are we? Or is it just perception? If yes, is there a collective message for us? Well, yeah, they kind of answered that question early. So thank you for asking that too. But it allows them to reiterate, yes, there are big shifts going on right now. We are all becoming so much aware, so much quicker, and the world is getting smaller, and we're all feeling the tension in that rubber band. And so that shift is what this is what the guides are saying. The shift is that we're feeling that tension, and the shift is that we feel an urgency in our awareness to want to soften that tension. And so the shift is also that we're expanding our awareness and our tools and our techniques to soften that tension that we're feeling, globally in the world or in the universe. And so they're saying if they gave a collective message regarding that, it would be to be mindful of how you're approaching your spirituality in your lifetime. And they are saying it's to live from a more spiritual place. And spiritual to them means connection, connected to the whole, and be mindful, they said, of one action, thought, word you have or take sends a vibration around the planet, and you have that much power. Each and every one of you tuning in today, thought, word, actions, how we create in the world. And what you are putting out there, just one thought, one word, one action, is getting shared around the world. And if you took responsibility for that, then you would take more caution and more changes with what you're thinking, saying, being, and doing. And they said that would be really powerful. What a great question. Thank you. And I have to hop over here. Do my guides have a 70th birthday message for me? Oh, how fun. Happy birthday. Happy 70. Okay, let's see here. Well, I am hearing that you still have some information to bring to the planet. You still have some light to share, knowledge to share in some way. I feel like there's somebody you're supposed to teach something to. It looks like one person in particular that you're meant to teach a few things to. And I'm not sure if you know who that is, but that's what I'm hearing. It's like there's one person you should be teaching something to, and I would say that's your gift, your knowledge of the esoterics. It looks like it's meant to be passed on. I don't know if somebody has asked you to teach them anything, or if you have an idea of who that might be. And it doesn't look like formal. Yet I would say increased communication there. Almost like a weekly call, a weekly check-in. I'm not sure if that makes sense to you. Hang on here. It doesn't feel like work by any means. It feels like fun. It feels like fun for you to share with this person. Hang on here. There is a lot there telling me of fairy energy around you. There's so I don't know if you see little twinkle lights or twinkle sparkles around you, but they're saying that is there, meant for you to enjoy. That, hang on here. They're telling me that there's a surprise for you coming this year that you're going to really appreciate. Actually, I don't know. It looks like more money is coming in some way, so you might have some stocks and stuff out there that are just going to jam. But just they show arrows up like that around money, so I think you're going to get a blessing there too. That's so funny. Um, Let me see if there's anything else here. They are telling me to tell you that they hear your thoughts. They know what you are thinking, and they're working hard um, to sort of. They know you see what would be good for the world, and they agree with you. Is what they want you to know, and they are working hard. Co-creating with the rest of the spirit team to make that happen. So you're on the right track with your thoughts and your ideas about what's going on in the world, and particularly this country. And they want you to know they hear you, they acknowledge that, and they agree. That's so interesting. Okay. All right. I have one more question here, and then I'll pop back over here. Hmm. Okay. Where am I going here? Okay. Well, now I can't find my question. Anyway, okay, well, I'm going to come over here. So, again, thank you all for joining. Let me see here. I'm new here via Kim. So, if you happen to take questions from your audience, my oldest daughter and I have always had a loving yet challenging relationship. Any Akashic insight or advice? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Now, I have to say, I see this often in readings, and I find this so fascinating, especially with the parent child. Um, a lot of mother daughters, and so often, I'm not saying this is for you, but and we can see if the guides will share this, but so often in a previous lifetime, you would have been the daughter and she the mother, and y'all decided to flip it this lifetime to see what that's like. And it's just so fascinating to me. So, hang on here. Often challenges arise in this mother-daughter relationship in particular because our perceptions are so different. So what we're seeing, they're seeing something entirely different. And so they want you to know you're both looking at it from two totally different perspectives. And it's almost like you can't see how the other one's looking at the relationship. So I'm here to tell you that you can hold a broader perspective more easily, where you, or I would say that higher perspective. And they said they would have you practice looking at your relationship just from all angles, and know that she's looking at it from one angle, if that makes sense. Um, some of this is in the journey for her to expand her ability to have the higher perspective. And so just trust in that you're playing a role for her and she's playing a role for you. Yet for her, it feels like, I would say her journey, they're just telling me she has some control issues. She likes to control, control, control. She likes to be in control, and she likes to have everything in a box and know where everything is. And so she doesn't do well if there's like a curveball thrown, or um, she's not prepared for something. And so when she looks at the world that way, and you may look at the world in a broader way that challenges her. Where she, how sometimes where people are real serious and then there's somebody silly, and the serious person just gets irritated with the person being silly and thinks they're irresponsible. And not paying attention, it's really because the serious person needs to learn how to be lighter, more silly. And so often we attract people in our lives that reflect that to us. And until we learn to embrace the part of us another is representing, we're going to constantly face it. So I'm hearing it's a little bit harder for your daughter. Um, and you just keep being you and hold that higher perspective and just wish for her evolution, that she'll figure this out and that she'll learn to be flexible, if that makes sense. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay. Oh, we have Maddie. It's your 30th birthday. Ooh, you're in your first Saturn return. Ooh, okay. Let's see here, Maddie. Birthdays today. This is exciting. Okay. Well, Maddie, if you haven't had an astrology reading before, I would totally encourage you to do that, because you're in your first Saturn return, which happens age 30, roughly. Give a few years, give or take a few years. So let's see, though, if they have a specific message for you. Well, with Saturn return, Saturn always brings change and transformation. And so they said to get ready. I'm not sure what kind of stuff you have going on in particular. Um, but a lot of times in our first Saturn return, it can be change is significant of a physical nature. So it could be a marriage, it could be first baby, it could be a career move, it could be moving across country, it could be a divorce for some that got married early. So it's a lot of physical change in that first Saturn return. And that happens for all of us, in from 30, 60, 90. So I won't go into all the details of that, but just know, get ready for some change if you haven't already experienced that change. Hang on here. They are just wishing you a happy birthday. They are handing you a bouquet of flowers. Let me see if there's anything in particular here. They are showing the stargazer lilies they're handing you. Oh, they're so fragrant too. They want you to know the essence of that flower is matches the essence of you. So that I would go look that up, see what meaning the stargazer lily carries, and just know that your energy is like the fragrance of it, radiating out and touching people in a beautiful way. That's sweet. Okay. Thank you. Oh, this is also good. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I might have missed. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's one curious question. What was your training or factor that equipped you to work in the records? Um, well, I've always been connected, yet I kind of, and of course, when you're growing up with it, you think it's normal. And I, like everybody else, well, not well, like a lot of people went traditional route, college, corporate career, blah blah blah, but always playing with things on the side. Writing, I've been writing in a journal for years and years and years, and a very active dream life. So always getting messages and understanding that they were messages. And I was using Reiki to connect with people's higher selves to get messages for them, in a professional setting. I would only do that if I was asked. And that's how I was doing readings prior. Information just coming in that way, or like I said, sometimes I would dream about a person and get messages for them, and that still happens. Yet I've always loved the Akashic records, knowing about Edgar Casey for so long and reading his book, I think in my 20s. If you haven't read any books on Edgar Casey, wonderful. There's great stuff out there, and he's just fascinating. He's also called the Sleeping Prophet. And for those of you in Alabama, Selma actually has a historical marker for him in their downtown. So when he lived a time in Selma, which I think is so cool. But anyway, a friend of mine was going to an Akashic class, and I was like, oh, I think I want to go. And we just did a little road trip, and it was a weekend class. And when I was there, um, honestly, I can't tell you what happened, but something clicked in the sense that I was like, I'm already doing this, I'm already getting this information. But whatever happened in that class, and I'm sure it's really learning the records, learning the prayer, learning how to use it, learning how to open the records. It just, information was instant, and the access was instant, and I've never looked back. And it's just been, it's wide open. Um, like I said, if you can learn the Akashic records, if you have an opportunity to, I would. It can change your life. It really can. Okay. All right, and then just one more. Just somebody's asking to see the book again, and it's called The Akashic Records, and it's by Ernesto Ortiz. He's just a lovely soul. So, and like, I think what I really love about his work is he's so authentic and he's so genuine, and he really cares about people, having the tools they need to just enhance your life here. So, and I think that's what his book is about. It's very educational, very informative, and very loving. So, yeah, thank you for asking that, and I'm glad to share that. And I think we are good for this week. Happy birthday again to you guys joining today. That's so much fun. And thank you all for sharing in this work. I cannot wait to next week and see what comes through. All right. Have a good week. Bye.